Good morning on a bright and sunny Monday, the 22nd of June, the day in which we celebrate St. Alban. St. Alban, called the proto-martyr, the first martyr of our island, the man who first gave his life for Christ, or whose first giving of his life for Christ is the one that's recorded for others. His shrine is at St. Albans, named after him, before that a Roman city. And the time of his death is a little bit uncertain. What is certain that it took place on the 22nd of June, but the year is a little bit more uncertain. The Church of England records it about 251 or 250. But it's possible that it was later on in the persecution of Diocletian, or even earlier on in about the year 209 in the persecution of Septimus Severus. Because Christianity at this time, throughout the Roman world, underwent a series of persecutions before the peace of the Church and before Christianity became the established religion. So there's a long period in those early centuries where Christianity was sometimes tolerated, sometimes indifferent, and at other times seriously persecuted. And Alban died in one of those times. Now, this early Christianity in our country, we don't know too much about. We know that 3 British bishops attended the Council of Arles in 315. And we know that Christianity really was more prevalent among the Romano-British, particularly in England, though there were other forms of Christianity in the west and in the north, in Cornwall, in Wales, in Ireland, and in Scotland. But what we do have at a time where Christianity was far from being the established religion, a number of very faithful followers of Jesus in our land. And this, of course, predates the people we celebrate up here, like Cuthbert and Aidan and all of those. And it also, of course, predates Augustine coming to Canterbury. This is a very early time when Christianity is a religion among many, although it's claiming its unique place, and when Christianity is sometimes tolerated by the Romans and sometimes persecuted. And it was in that situation of flux that Alban was born as a pagan, as a Romano-British, in what we could now call St. Albans. And he sheltered a man who was being persecuted, who was a priest. And Alban, a soldier, was so impressed by the faith of this man that he himself became a Christian. And when soldiers came to arrest the man, he took his place so that the man could escape, refused to give up his faith on pain of death, and finally was executed. And surrounding his execution, there are many stories. The priest came back to try and save him, was also executed. The first soldier wouldn't execute him because he was so impressed by him, and the second soldier was struck blind at the time of execution. Now, these are a lot of stories around this, but what is clearly true is that Alban's faith was a step forward in faith for the cause of Christianity in our country. His faith unto death made such an impression that in that place, on that site, on the hill now in St. Albans, there began what is now the cathedral. A place of pilgrimage, a place of mission, a place of healing. The blood of the martyrs, it has been said, is the seed of the church. And Alban's faithfulness unto death made a great difference and was, if you like, the beginning of a fertile time of Christian faith that would find its final successes in our Aidan and in Oswald and in Augustine and South. But this very early on, this time of faith this statement of faith made a difference. And it shows something that's important. It's not just about waves of the work of God, but it's also about the work of God in every individual. It's important what God does in me. It's important what God does in you. Because the Holy Spirit, the power and the love of God working in every individual, is the means that God chooses. The surrounding and enveloping of each of us by God's love means that we are able to work for Christ in our world, and like Alban, in our own ways, make a difference. And also, like Alban, draw others to Christ's love. May God bless us as we do this.